Welcome to CBC Windsor News at 6. I'm Meg Roberts. Thanks so much for spending part of your evening with us tonight. Severe weather with watches and warnings across southwestern Ontario. Thousands in the region are without power. We'll have all those updates for you coming up. Plus, a number of seniors programs here in Windsor, Essex are benefiting from a funding announcement. We'll share with you what the additional money means for one organization and keeping alleyways safe and clean, an issue Windsor Council is currently debating. One councillor wants to see improvements once and for all. Well, things have certainly calmed down here in Windsor, but wow, what a storm that just moved through our region.
Oh, just got hit in the mouth.
A massive downpour here. We're still under a severe thunderstorm warning, but the worst in this line of storms has now passed us on the radar. You can see how that storm ripped through the river. We had our tower camera up and running. Heavy wind and lightning strikes inside of this system. Thousands in Windsor and the county are still without power. The system has hit Sarnia especially hard. That area was under a tornado warning in the last hour. It's since ended. We've got calls into people across the area to get a sense of the damage. This is the scene in Sarnia right now, just a snapshot of one street in the city. A fire truck blocked by a massive tree that's fallen on the road. The fire department says there's a live wire on top of the truck. Now, just taking a moment here to talk about what you should do if that happens to you. Experts say you need to stay inside of the car. If you can't move the vehicle safely, call 911. Do not leave that vehicle until emergency services arrive to help you out. But downed wires are not the only danger during these storms. Take a look at this piece of hail. This was sent to us from Sean Firth. He's out in Maidstone. Thanks for sending this to us, Sean. We're hoping your car and home and any others in the region didn't suffer any damage. Well, that's a live look outside right now. Nothing but sun. Yeah, just hours ago, a much different scene. We'll have more about what just passed a little later in the show. Well, wherever you are in southern Ontario, we want to know what you're seeing. If you have videos or images of this storm, please send them our way. You can email us at our email address, windsor@cbc.ca. And you can also text us at 519-984-2051. We'll have the full forecast with Nick Sirkovich coming up. 19 seniors programs are getting a financial boost today. That's with the help of $400,000 from the federal government. Dale Molnar shares the story of one of those programs today.
I have been cooking ever since I was 5 years old, and August the 7th, I'll turn 78.
At the historic Sandwich First Baptist Church, Lana Talbot helps to bring what she calls Underground Railroad food she has loved all of her life to a new generation.
Everybody wants my chicken wings, my fried chicken wings. We do macaroni and cheese. We'll do greens. We do, sometimes I'll make apple pie.
The cooking program received almost $25,000 today from the federal government.
And I'm extremely proud to announce that our government, through the New Horizons for Seniors program, is investing more than $400,000 to fund over 19 community-based projects to support seniors right here in Windsor.
The cooking program is run through the Women's Enterprise Skills Training of Windsor agency. It pairs seniors with young people who learn about cooking from several different cultures.
We have the African, Canadian, we have the Arabic, we have the Spanish, Afghani, Chaldean, different participants.
This program is just really wonderful. We speak about it being an intergenerational concept. We are working with seniors and partnering them with youth in the community just for a sense of learning and sharing and growing.
Lana Talbot is an artist, and she sees this program as another form of art, and it also helps spread understanding and tolerance.
Being a diverse city that we are and becoming more diverse, I think this is what we need. We need to learn more about each other, not just in the cooking, but in the culture.
And while Talbot is okay with showing how to cook some of that delicious soul food, she says she won't divulge the secret to her great-grandmother's barbecue sauce recipe.
I promised my great-grandma I'd never give her. I'll make it for you.
And pass the greens. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Windsor.
A review into the transfer of one of Canada's most notorious killers was released today. The report by the Correctional Services concludes the rules were followed when Paul Bernardo was moved to a medium security prison, but it also says notification could have been handled better when it came to telling the families of Bernardo's victims. CBC's Ashley Burke reports.
The head of the Correctional Service of Canada says a review has now found the decision to transfer Paul Bernardo from a maximum to medium security prison was sound.
It is important to stress that at any point, an inmate can be returned to a higher security level if deemed necessary.
Commissioner Ann Kelly came under fire after Bernardo was quietly moved at the end of May from a maximum security facility in Ontario to a medium security prison in Quebec. The families of victims Kristen French and Leslie Mahaffey were shocked they were only told about it the morning of the transfer.
I regret any pain and concern this transfer has caused.
A review committee found there was nothing stopping Kelly's department from giving more advanced warning to the families and using greater care, sensitivity, and compassion, especially since the families had recently been given another report about Bernardo that didn't mention the transfer.
The victims felt particularly aggrieved that, well, we just got a report about what's going on and you left out this one rather key fact that you're well underway to do a transfer.
This former Public Safety Director General reviewed the report and said in a rare move, the Privacy Commissioner allowed new details about Bernardo's file to be released, including why he qualified for the transfer.
The big difference was when he finally demonstrated he could live on a range with other inmates, not get into trouble, not be the object of trouble, they felt that then the factors aligned for medium.
Kelly said since Bernardo is listed as a dangerous offender, he's not able to be transferred to a minimum security prison.
Despite the fact that he is at a medium security institution, does not negate the fact that he is a psychopath and that he committed horrific and unspeakable crimes.
Kelly has agreed to move forward with the review's recommendation that she launch a working committee to improve practices when it comes to engaging with victims and also sending out notifications for the transfer of high-profile offenders like this. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Canada Border Services Agency has responded to concerns about major delays at Windsor-Detroit border. We brought you that story earlier this week. Windsor residents have reported being stuck in long delays at the Windsor-Detroit tunnel, especially over the past few weekends. In an email to CBC News, the agency says between July and August, they try to keep wait times at the crossing to 20 minutes. They say the bridge and the tunnel are consistently among the 10 busiest in the country, and that so far in their 2023-24 fiscal year, 95% of all tunnel crossings have met their service standards, a little less than that at bridge crossings. The agency says almost 40% of uniformed employees in Southern Ontario are assigned to the Ambassador Bridge in the Windsor-Detroit tunnel, which translates to more than 500 employees. The agency ran a recruitment campaign for 2 weeks in June, which they say saw a significant number of applications that are currently being processed. Windsorites are sounding off about their dirty, busted-up alleyways this week.
There's a constant odor back here, and then not only that, we actually do get needles back here quite often. So that is another concern. Like, I have my kids, and they do like to come into the alley because we're back here in our garage. So that is a definite concern. And we get a collection, actually, a lot of shopping carts, bicycles, quite a few stolen and discarded items, we'll call it, back here. Okay. It could become a junkyard.
How does it affect you, though? I guess coming in and out of here with your vehicle?
I don't like to. I would rather not, right? So you're probably so close to all the fences. There's stuff all over the place. You hit your car on the branches, the trees, potholes everywhere, like you said. I try my best to avoid it, but unfortunately you have to sometimes, right?
This comes after City Councillor Mark McKenzie asked for a report about how bylaw officers deal with alleyways. He would like to see them take a more proactive approach when it comes to enforcement on garbage, vandalism, and encampments in alleys, with the hope to get more of them fixed and cleaned. Next week, a council committee will hear a report looking at minimum maintenance standards for alleyways and another report on how much it would cost to repave and maintain them. But all is not broken in the city's alleyways. It's quite the opposite in at least one unpaved alley on Windsor's west side. That's due to the hard work of one neighbor to make it shine.
My name is Tom Andonovsky, and I'm taking care about the alley over here. No use to cut the grass all the time, so I figured out I can plant some peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers.
What's it like to be able to extend your garden, which is also very nice, out into the alleyway here?
Beautiful. Pass the time. Instead cut the grass, I pass my time with the plants. And I give all the neighbors tomatoes, peppers. Anybody pass by, as long as they don't do damage, they can help themselves. I had a few guys, they go by, they got some little hot peppers, they just help themselves, one or two for the lunchbox, and they go. They don't do no damage at all. Good neighbors.
When did you start doing this?
Oh, 15, 20 years ago. See the guys, the two neighbors over here, they don't have access for the alleyway, so they have to come all the way around to cut the grass. So one of my neighbors, he said, Tom, since you cut the grass, why don't you plant some tomatoes? And that's how I started.
How much work is it?
Well, to be honest with you, it is work, but when you see everything is nice, you forget everything. That doesn't bother you at all. But it is work. If you're in you can spend the whole day over here, picking up weeds, tie the plants, water the plants. It's all day job.
You know, I guess this would be considered city property.
It is city property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, have city crews come by? Do they know about it?
I hardly see any, to be honest with you. Okay. No. But even if they pass by, they don't care. Let's put it this way, they don't care.
Yeah.
See, if they complain if the grass is not cut. They send you a letter, so that's your responsibility. But you see the tracks now, nobody's complaining about this. They should do something about it. I have a hell of a time to go with the lawnmower now over here. Last year was like a golf course. Well, what can you do? You still gotta do it.
And what do you think about having an alleyway like this?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I love it. A lot of people, they pass by around and they give you compliments how good they are. And that makes me feel good.
Yes, those are bright skies on the tower cam. That severe thunderstorm warning is now over for our area. Just an hour and a half ago, there was those dark, ominous clouds downpouring and, of course, that large hail that fell. We'll talk about this wild weather coming up after the break. Well, meteorologist Nick Cernkovich joins us now to talk about that wild weather that just went through.
Well, Meg, a very severe line of thunderstorms moving across southwestern Ontario this evening. I want to show you this line as it swept through the Windsor area, and you'll notice a little bit of bowing in this. That's very indicative of strong winds, and Windsor Airport reporting a gust close to 100 kilometers per hour as this swept across. Heavy rainfall as well, and some areas likely to have seen hail in here. So severe thunderstorm watches and warnings have been in place, and it's still sweeping eastward toward the London area and through London. Now, in behind it, the risk for some isolated showers tonight still and thunderstorms down around the Windsor area. For the most part, though, this has been sort of the most intense part of this line. As it sweeps through tomorrow, we've just got some cloud cover in place and behind it there. The risk for a few isolated showers, but generally I think for tomorrow we're looking at mainly sunny skies in the forecast, at least for Windsor. It gets a little bit more cloudy as we head toward the London and Golden Horseshoe area. As we move into the weekend, we're looking at, again, a sunny start to the weekend. It does look like there is a chance for some isolated showers sort of mid to late day down in the Windsor area on Saturday. But by and large, we're looking at pretty decent weather heading into the weekend. If anything, they should be fairly isolated showers. Temperature-wise, we've come off the highs. Windsor at 21 degrees, but the high 29 with a humidex earlier of 38. That was helping to fuel these thunderstorms. As we move through tonight, we've got temperatures that are going to go down just a little bit, down to about 19 degrees here. Again, I've got cloud cover here. Maybe some isolated showers into the evening, but by the overnight, that basically clears out. And then our forecast here, looking out through the next 5 days, 26 degrees for tomorrow, less in the way of humidity. Saturday and Sunday, we've got temperatures around 27, 28 degrees, humidex in the low 30s. And again, I mentioned that isolated risk of sort of afternoon pop-up showers, but not large-scale rain. More in the way of rainfall, though, as we head through next Tuesday. Highs, though, up to 30 degrees. Meg.
Well, thanks so much for that, Nick. Have you ever tried Donaire? If you haven't, it's meat shaved, sautéed, and stuffed into a pita along with some veggies. And it's very popular in parts of the country. In fact, so popular, someone has made a costume out of it. And it's up for big money at auction. We have that saucy story coming up. Well, we have breaking news tonight. Unifor has reached a tentative deal with the owners of Windsor Salt. This news just confirmed by the union in a press release. The strike started back in February. Employees will go for a vote next week. There's about 250 people who are on strike. These details are coming in fast. We'll have a full story online at cbc.ca/Windsor. Now, the ramifications of the months-long strike at Windsor Salt are being felt across the country. A hardware store in Ottawa is noticing the pinch. People who own water softeners have been scrambling to find salt.
It was around February, March. We knew Windsor was going on strike, and we won't be able to get system saver salt, which is pretty much a necessity for most people living on the countryside where, you have those water softener machines. Yeah. We were getting low, so we started looking. So we called a few companies, some in Quebec, some out west, but we couldn't really find a competitive price. Being independently owned, we are a lot more entrepreneurial. So when we see something, the market situation changing, we try to get ahead of it rather than responding to it after the fact. We were able to find somebody in Southern Ontario. So that's where we get the salt now. We are getting about truckload every 3 weeks.
How many bags?
It was able to meet demand, and they actually, because of the strike, their volume has gone up quite a bit, so they are stocking a lot more salt.
They're producing more.
Essentially it's produced in the U.S. by Carlyle Group, so they get it shipped to them so that we can buy.
I've had at least 3 weeks of we're out right now, and last night we were driving down Bank Street, South Bank, and I saw the sign, but it was already after 7 o'clock. They were closed, so I'm back today to pick it up.
It's been definitely a hard search. I've realized that it's difficult to find, and there's Facebook groups chatting about the lack of salt, and if anybody finds some, they sort of pop up. That hasn't happened in a long time until today, and so Home Hardware here on Leitrim happened to have it, and so here I am, running out to get some bags and get things going again.
Well, the truth is that if the consumers need something, you need to be able to source it from wherever it's available. Not having it would be worse. If the customers tell me that this is working a lot better for them, then maybe we'll carry both products. But the intention is once the strike is over, we'll go back to carrying Windsor.
The FIFA Women's World Cup is underway, and tonight Canada's team is about to play its first game. CBC's Lindsay Duncombe is in Melbourne, Australia, where the action is.
There is certainly a piece of Canada in Melbourne, Australia, in advance of the big match between Canada and Nigeria. This is Canada House, a place for Canadians who live in Melbourne, a place for friends and family of Canada's team, and for people who have traveled to come and celebrate the team. I just spoke to a woman who came all the way from St. Catharines, Ontario, just to watch these matches, and the players are ready to take to the pitch.
I think for me it's just been like honoring those small moments and just the process of getting here. It's been such a journey, such a climb, and you finally feel like you're almost there, right? And there's still a lot to achieve, so yeah, I'm just day by day and honoring all those special little moments in between.
The big challenge for Canada will be containing superstar striker Asisat Oshuwala. She plays with Barcelona FC, and the challenge for Canada will be keeping her away from the net. But this is a team that's used to challenges on the pitch and off the pitch. That pay dispute with Canada Soccer is still ongoing. We asked Captain Christine Sinclair about it at a press conference here in Melbourne.
It's done. We're just not focused on it anymore. It's, about to get done. So honestly, we haven't thought about it for one second these past couple of weeks, just focusing on playing.
The big question now is what will all of that adversity mean for the team once they finally start playing? Will it mean that they'll unify, come together, and start racking up the victories? Well, that's certainly what fans here are hoping. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Melbourne.
The 2023 North American Indigenous Games run until Sunday in Nova Scotia, but sports and competition are only half the story. CBC's Brooklyn Curry reports.
Outside this tent at the Cultural Village, Mi'kmaq elder Ernest Johnson is preparing strips of wood. Inside the tent, his life partner transforms them into beautiful, handcrafted flowers. It's one of several cultural demonstrations set up during the North American Indigenous Games. A few tables away, Mi'kmaq artist Ashley Sunnypass is weaving baskets.
I like to call basket making community art because there's people that go out and prepare the wood. Then there's people that go out and pick the sweetgrass, and then there's others that have all of that in front of them and they weave it together.
Different demonstrations are happening every day at the Cultural Village, from basket weaving to beadwork to hide tanning. NAG organizers worked hard to ensure this year's games were an even split of sports and culture. With more than 750 nations from across Turtle Island, it's an opportunity not only to gather and compete, but to learn from each other.
I had groups of children that were out in front of my desk asking all the questions, touching the wood, and that's probably my favorite age group to teach is the children.
We're going to give them the information. We're going to give them the tools, at least to have a shot at the next life, so that our grandchildren and our children yet to be born will have a shot at enjoying all of life's gifts.
That's Cree elder Gary Joseph. He's telling stories through leatherwork. Part of his display includes this belt he created for his wife, who's on a journey of recovery following her second cancer diagnosis.
So this design does signify the 7 districts among the Wabanaki territory of the Mi'kmaqs, of which they are part of. There is a circle, and a circle is like a medicine symbol. So when we gather in circles, we share medicine with each other.
Also in a circle, Joseph leads a smudging ceremony. As the smell of burning sage and cedar fill the air, more visitors to the Cultural Village file into the tent to check out the demonstrations. Brooklyn Curry, CBC News, Halifax, Jabuktuk.
If you're hungry for a unique costume, the government of Alberta has something you can sink your teeth into. This outfit looks good enough to eat. The auction posting notes indicates it comes with a silver bodysuit to complete the authentic tinfoil look. How it became part of the Alberta government surplus isn't explained in the posting. Bidding for the meaty suit started at $50 and has since climbed to more than $7,000. Now, that big storm that rolled through southwestern Ontario has left some damage, but some were able to take in a show. Eric Robson sent us this photo from Chatham. They're in the garage enjoying a cup of tea as the storm rolls through. Glad they're able to stay dry. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. That's it for Windsor News at 6.